Pastor Brett Holmes, Calder Baptist Church. And I would ask that everyone please silence your phones. And if you so choose, please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor.
Thank you. Let us pray together. God of justice, mercy, and grace, we thank you for this day and for the gifts of family, friends, and neighbors. We especially thank you for the people in our city who have been entrusted with the responsibility for making decisions that affect the dignity, safety, well-being, and flourishing of all people in this place. Give us the courage to set aside our political differences and focus instead on the ways that we need one another. Guide us with your wisdom and help us to speak with honesty, with kindness, and clarity as we work together to make Beaumont a place that everyone can be proud to call home. We pray all these things in your name. Hear our prayer. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Mayor West.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Durio.
Present.
Councilmember Getz.
Present.
Councilmember Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Felshaw. Councilmember Samuel.
Present.
And Councilmember Neal.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, public comments. Now is the time for any citizen who, excuse me, I jumped ahead. Today we have 3 proclamations and 1 recognition. The first proclamation will be recognized National Hurricane Preparedness Week. Accepting will be Ms. Shakina Nobles, City of Beaumont Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator. Huh? Oh, yeah, I'm going to do that too. Whereas across the nation, we set aside a week every May to raise awareness of the devastating impacts hurricanes can bring to communities, neighborhoods, and local economies. The Texas coastline and inland communities such as Beaumont are at greater risk of hurricanes during the 6-month period that runs from June through November. As a result, we must come together and prepare for these potentially life-threatening forces of nature. And whereas hurricanes are powerful and destructive forces that can inflict immense damage on our community and pose a serious threat to the lives and property of the citizens of Beaumont, consequently, we must remain vigilant during the hurricane season and stay aware of the potential for severe weather that can accompany tropical systems. And whereas hurricanes and tropical systems combined are historically known to cause the worst disasters in U.S. history. The resulting destruction taught us that practicing preparedness for severe weather must become a priority in our households and communities. And whereas before the 2023 hurricane season begins, the citizens of Beaumont are encouraged to take the time to sign up for emergency alerts, review plans for shelter and evacuation, build your emergency kit, check your insurance coverage, and document your property. Strengthen your financial preparedness and develop a plan to keep in touch with your loved ones. Now, therefore, I, Roy West, Mayor of the City of Beaumont of Texas, do hereby proclaim that May 14th through the 20th, 2023, as Hurricane Preparedness Week, and urge all citizens of Beaumont to remain mindful of the dangers presented by hurricanes, to stay informed about current threats, and to take the steps towards preparedness. Accordingly, the mayor has hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the city to be affixed. And now, Accepting will be Ms. Shaquina Nobles, City of Beaumont Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator. Oh, yeah. I gotta do that.
Thank you for what you do. We appreciate you guys very much.
Thank you, Mayor West, for the proclamation. We are just about a week away before the start of hurricane season. Hurricane season runs June 1st through November 30th. And so we want to make sure that we take this opportunity to remind our citizens to be prepared. You can never be too prepared, and your preparedness doesn't have to start now. You can start preparing for hurricanes as soon as January, really. One of the things that I really want to encourage citizens to do, if you have not already done so, if you've registered for the State of Texas Emergency Assistance Registry, most people know it as 211. We encourage those citizens to do that. To date, we have about 1,400 citizens that have registered within that service, and that is primarily targeted to our medical and functional access needs citizens. And so we know that there's more of those individuals out there, and we want to encourage those citizens to do that or renew their registration. Again, we want people to prepare their homes, prepare their properties as we move forward in this season. And we again thank you guys for your continued support for the Emergency Management Office, and we thank our citizens for their support as well. And as always, we are available for them if they have any additional questions.
Thank you. The next proclamation is recognizing May 21st through the 27th of 2023 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas Emergency Medical Services Week is a vital public service, and whereas the member of the emergency medical service teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services have grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventive medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and others out of the hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of emergency medical services team, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the values and the accomplishments of emergency medical services by designating Emergency Services Week. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Roy West, the mayor of the city of Beaumont, Texas, do hereby proclaim May 21st through the 27th, 2023 is Emergency Medical Services Week with the theme EMS Strong. EMS Week, where emergency care begins. I encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Accordingly, the mayor has hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the city to be affixed. And now accepting will be the City of Beaumont Fire Chief Earl White and Max Wynn of the Emergency Medical Services Management. Hey, Chief. Yes, sir.
Chief, thank you for what you do. Max, thank you for what you do. Thank you, sis, for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Mayor, Council, thank you so much for recognizing Emergency Services Week. As you know, it's a tough time to be an EMT, paramedic, long hours, low pay, tough job, really, really is. Today I have with me Angela Schumacher, longtime EMS employee, and I'd like for you all to personally hear from her and her experience working with the City of Beaumont Emergency Medical Services. Angela?
I have worked here since 1996. When I came to work here, I have been blessed to be a part of this organization here. Beaumont EMS and Beaumont Fire Department is actually the premier service. I have learned a lot and I've grown up here. So I am actually very blessed to work with Chief Max and Chief Singler, as well as all the other very talented men and women on both EMS and the fire side. So thank you.
And I'm a little biased, but I will tell you, if you have an emergency medical in Beaumont, Texas, Beaumont Fire Rescue EMS is the way to go. We'll save your life. Thank you all so much.
The next proclamation recognizing June 3rd, 2023 as National Lemonade Day in Jefferson County. And our city clerk.
Whereas Lemonade Day is a free, fun program dedicated to teaching children how to start, own, and operate their own business through the simple and time-honored act of building and running a lemonade stand. And whereas the Greater Beaumont Chamber of Commerce, in partnership with the Del Papa Distributing Company, Beaumont ISD, the Port of Beaumont, Entergy, ExxonMobil, Mobile Oil Credit Union, Legacy Community Health, Urban Air Beaumont, Common Sense Credit Union, Nature's Federal Credit Union, MCT Credit Union, along with many other companies and organizations, join forces to bring this innovative program to Beaumont. And whereas children participating in the Lemonade Day program are encouraged to spend a little time, save a little, encouraged to spend a little, save a little, and share a little by donating a portion of their profits to a local charity of their choice. And whereas Lemonade Day is a day of learning and celebrating Beaumont's future, on Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, the citizens of Beaumont are encouraged to show support by simply purchasing a cup of lemonade from one of the youths participating in the program to demonstrate how our community cares for the future of youth and for Beaumont's youngest entrepreneurs. And whereas all volunteers, organizers, participants, and sponsors are commended for their dedication to this event, and best wishes are extended for a successful and rewarding observance. Now, therefore, I, Roy West, Mayor of the City of Beaumont, do hereby proclaim Saturday, June 3rd, 2023 as Lemonade Day in Beaumont and encourage all citizens to participate. Accordingly, the mayor has hereunto set his hand and caused a seal of the City of Beaumont to be affixed. Roy West, May 23rd, 2023, and accepting will be Chris Parton, Greater Beaumont Chamber of Commerce Director of Leadership Programs. If you'll come forward.
We didn't bring any women.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Thank you.
And anybody with you can come up.
Yeah.
When they speak.
You guys want to come up as well? Thank you.
He's close, I know, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the proclamation. Let me ask you a simple question. First of all, Where would you be today if someone took you aside during the grades of 3rd through 5th grade, a mentor, taught you how to open your own business, taught you about market research, did all the things that you needed to build your own business? Where would you be today? Almost a silly question to ask you since you're sitting in front of the entire city right now. But let me hit you with some fun-filled facts. Did you know that 43% of students in K through 12 are taught business literacy? Ages 8 to 14 are critical times in the development of children's financial behavior. During these years, they form habits, saving and spending, that will last well into their lives. Lemonade Day continues to increase children's skills in the area of financial literacy and mathematics. 87% of participants increase their financial vocabulary. 87% also increase their ability to set financial goals. 88% of participants increase their understanding of saving and philanthropy. Last year, in 2022, the average lemonade stand in Jefferson County brought in $404 of revenue, $293 in profit, $123 on average was saved, and $64 was shared. And as you heard in the proclamation, spend a little, share a little, save a little. It gives the opportunity to go ahead and integrate kids into our community, into their neighborhoods, and we hope that this actually goes down all the way to your individual streets where you're supporting the kids in the city and in the county. Thank you. But we definitely appreciate this, and thank you for showcasing Lemonade Day with us.
Thank you. Lastly, recognition of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Inc., congratulating them on 90 years of service and sisterhood.
Whereas in 1931, several young women residing in Beaumont, Texas, who had already been initiated into the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, sought out to establish a chapter in Beaumont, Texas. And whereas this group of ladies initially began meeting in homes, discussing matters of importance that they learned in their undergraduate chapters, respectively. And whereas 2 members from the Alpha Kappa Alpha Omega chapter in Houston, Texas, met with the members of Beaumont, and after all requirements were satisfied per the Constitution and bylaws, they informed the regional director that although the members was small, and an exception was made to set up the chapter since the size of the chapter afforded many possibilities. And whereas in the spring of 1933, these members from the interest group, Arthurine Ray Willard, Hattie Roberts Horton, Theoberta Adams, Americ Click, and Juanita Fisher, along with the Southern Deputy Regional Director, Lois Davis, and 3 members from the Alpha Kappa Omega chapter met at St. Paul AME Church, and on June 3rd, 1933, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Omega chapter was chartered in Beaumont, Texas. And whereas the following officers were elected: President Ray Willard, Recording Secretary Hattie Roberts Horton, Corresponding Secretary Theoberta Adams, Treasurer Americ Click, Ivy Leaf Reporter, and Juanita Fisher. And whereas the next year, sorority members Addie Mae Limbrick and Louise Patton were the first transfers. During the early 40s, they initiated their first probates. Jewel Cleveland, Maxine Fowler, and Helen, and I think that's Fallion. After World War II, the chapter began to grow through transfers from college graduates and membership intakes. Meetings were held on the 3rd Tuesday night in the home of the chapter members. And whereas through all of these efforts, the undergraduate chapter Zeta Beta was established on the campus of Lamar University in 1970. Now, therefore, I, Roy West, Mayor of the City of Beaumont, do hereby recognize that on June 3rd, 2023, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Alpha Omega chapter will celebrate 90 years of supreme service and sisterhood. He would like to congratulate them on this milestone in the chapter's history and extend sincere appreciation for the good work they do in our community. Accordingly, the mayor has hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the City of Beaumont to be affixed, signed Roy West, dated May 23rd, 2023, and accepting will be Portionine White, President of Alpha Omega chapter, and any other AKs that would like to come up.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mayor West, City Council, and to all in attendance, good afternoon. As mentioned, I am Dr. Portia A. White, the president of Alpha Omega Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We thank you for this acknowledgement and for your support. Alpha Omega Omega chapter, we are truly grateful for the opportunity to have served the community for 90 years. Sisterhood and service are the cornerstones of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We look forward to 90 years of continued sisterhood and service within this community. Thank you.
For those that are here for the recognition and proclamations and would like to leave, now's the time to do so. Thank you for coming. I got it. At the close of the city council meeting, the council will hold executive session to discuss, consider matters relating to the deliberation of economic development negotiations in accordance with section 551.087 of the government code, to wit, specifically Project Gemstone, Castle, and Shield. Consider matters related to contemplated or pending litigation in accordance with section 551.071 of the government code, the claim of Joseph Gaines. Now is the time for any citizen who wishes to speak, who may make public comments on the consent agenda and agenda items 7 through 11. If you haven't already done so, please complete a green slip and hand it to the city clerk. The city clerk will call your name when it is your time to speak. We would appreciate you to keep your comments to 3 minutes. The green light will come on when you approach the podium, and the red light will come on when your time is up.
Charlie Crabb, 928 East Drive, Beaumont, Texas. He wants to speak on the consent agenda, item B and E. And Mr. Crabb, you did check items 1 and 3, but you can't speak on those because they've already been through a public hearing, but you can speak on item number 9.
Number 9. All right. Thank you very
Yes.
much. Oh, there's not a whole lot there. I just hope the new buyer realizes that's just 12-foot wide strip of land. May I speak on the, let's see, consent agenda?
Yes, you had items B and E on the consent agenda that you wanted to speak on.
Yeah, on item B, you're going to approve the purchase of CrowdStrike Falcon Complete. It'd be nice if we could have a little more description on what that item is going to be. And let's see. What other one? B
Item E,
and O, E. Yes. I'm going to have to keep.
for the
better
charter
notes.
review.
Oh, yeah, charter review. Oh, yeah, and list the names of the appointees if possible. And I didn't say hello to Mayor West and the council and all the staff. And it's a pleasure to be here in Beaumont, Texas again today. Thank you, Mr. Manager.
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right. Now is a motion and a second for approval of consent agenda excluding item B.
So move for approval.
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded for the approval of the consent agenda. Any discussion? Yes.
On item E, I just wanted to take the time out to compliment the young brother Sam. Sam is from Beaumont Westbrook High School, a recent graduate, and he was the city manager on the youth council. So to see that you're taking a step further and being involved even more and serving on the charter committee, I just want to let you know in front of everybody, I appreciate you and I'm extremely proud of you, okay?
Yes, Councilman Getz.
Why was item B removed?
I requested it.
Okay. Can we also, when we consider item B, get a little bit more explanation as to what that item is?
Yes. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. May we have the reading of, well, I guess we need to, item B. Just checking on y'all.
I know.
All right, item B,
Yes, so they asked for additional information, so I don't know if y'all want me to do that. Do you have, a question, council member, as it relates to item B specifically?
Yeah, this apparently has to do with internet security, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And we had a vendor previously that was providing those services. Why are we changing?
For a similar price, we can get a lot more functionality. It will be more hands-on by the vendor instead of hands-on by staff.
Okay, and the price wasn't, I didn't see in the item, but I saw it in the proposed resolution of $143,000.
Yes,
That is an annual fee or just
it is
a
an
one?
annual fee,
Okay,
which is approximately, we're paying $138,000 now.
thanks.
And for further clarification, one of our components of our insurance is to have cybersecurity, and the more benefits of our cybersecurity that we can offer, the better rates that we can have moving forward.
I do have our vendor here if y'all have any more specific questions.
no questions.
Okay, that was turn.
Is there a motion? Did you have something?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve consent agenda B?
Move to approve the resolution.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of approving item B, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
For the record, can we note that Councilman Taylor has abstained? Thank you.
May we have the reading of item number 1, please?
Yes, Mayor. Council consider a request for a specific use permit to allow a stone cutting and fabrication business in the GCMD General Commercial Multiple Family Dwelling District located at 1981 Magnolia Avenue. At a joint public hearing held on May 15, 2023, the Planning Commission recommended 6-0 to approve the request for SUP to allow stone cutting fabrication business with the following conditions. 1, shall be in compliance with Section 28-04-007 performance standards. 2, shall be in compliance with all applicable building and fire codes. 3, construction plans must meet all requirements by water utilities for water and sanitary sewer services, including any requirements of the city's backflow, pre-treatment, and/or fog program. And recommendation is approval of the ordinance with those conditions.
Is there a motion for item number 1?
Move to approve with 3 conditions.
Second.
There's a motion and a second for approval of item number 1. Any discussion?
One question. Is there a particular reason they didn't specify the hours of operation?
So that's not always a requirement. Often the applicant will state what the hours are, but it's not always stated and it's not always required. So
At the planning meeting, she did say that their hours were flexible, but that they would only operate between 8 and 5, but those weren't consistent. It's a fabrication site, so most of the time they are off installing on site, but they don't have a showroom, and it's just them constructing on site. But they won't work after hours.
Will not work after hours.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. That's all I have.
Yes, Councilman Neal?
They said that, but that's not a condition. Would it be worth putting that in as a condition so we don't have an issue down the road?
if you want to make it a condition, in other words, to ensure it, then it could be added as a condition, which would be enforceable.
How close is the closest residence?
2 houses down.
Closest, I would say, was within a block and a half.
Yeah. It's right there on Magnolia.
Thank you.
I would so move, because, well, I moved that their hours be specified from 8 to 5 or nothing after 5 p.m.
It's an amendment to the motion?
Yes.
Second. Not that it needs a second.
Okay. Yes.
Just a question for the staff. Is this something we've done before? Are we setting a precedence here?
So, and I know where you're going with this, so let me just interject. Planning Commission makes a recommendation to council. Council then has that opportunity to amend, reject, or accept that recommendation. And so making a additional requirement is something council, or additional condition is something council has done in the past, and it's within your authority to do so.
And I understand that, but.
You can even remove conditions if you so choose.
And I understand the protocol. I'm just asking the question about, have we done this before with other businesses?
Yes.
We have.
We have, but not with every, in other words, in my recommendation would be is if there's a special consideration for controlling the hours, that's certainly within the purview of the council to add that as a condition. We wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that for every specific use permit approved, because then it becomes a manpower issue in terms of enforcement. So if it's a particular concern, again, this is proximate to surrounding single family, it could always be added as a condition, but I wouldn't recommend it to add it to every business.
Councilman Samuel.
The reason I had concern is this is a fabrication and stone cutting business in a residential neighborhood. It happens to be on a main corridor. So there's no problem with that. But without there being specifications, it could be a problem if they are working 11 or 12 o'clock at night. Sure. And so I just wanted to make sure that we protect the neighbors from that type of activity.
Okay, Councilman Turner.
I was just going to ask other businesses similar to that, and I do agree with Councilman Samuel, but I was asking if do we think that 5 o'clock time is fairly early with the.
We can even say, I'd amend my motion to say 8 p.m.
Thank you.
Councilman Durio.
the letters were sent out to the neighbors. Were there any letters that came back against because of the possible noise?
No, sir.
Okay.
But I will comment that the first condition references section 28.04.007, which is performance standards, which speak to excessive light, excessive dust, excessive noise. So that's the reason why we included that condition, is to basically put the applicant and the neighbors on notice that we really want you to be good neighbors.
So it's already been addressed by that number one?
Well, not necessarily ours, but the concern about the noise.
Councilman Felsch.
And I'm sure the council saw it, but in our packet, it has the stone polisher. The equipment they're using, for this purpose. I'm not sure if this is the only one they're using, but it does show the equipment they're using. I'm not sure how much noise that puts out, but I do understand our concern.
Any other discussion? So, Ms. Broussard, we've got an amendment to amend it to
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
And that was a motion by Councilmember Samuel and a second by Councilmember Getz.
Okay. There's a motion and a second for approval of item number 1 with the amendment. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. May we have the reading of item number 2, please?
Yes. Council consider a request for a specific use permit to allow a drinking place in the GCMD, General Commercial Multiple Family Dwelling District, for property located at 2550 Interstate 10 East within the Town Center Shops Plaza. The joint public hearing held on May 15, 2023. The Planning Commission recommended 6-0 to deny the request for a specific use permit to allow drinking in this particular district. So recommendation is to deny.
Is there a motion for item number 2?
Move to deny.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second for approval of item number 2. Any discussion? Councilman Turner.
The motion is.
Oh, denied. Sorry.
Yes, for this particular address, I just want the community to know the stance of the city. We're not against bars or nightclubs. To my understanding from planning and zoning, Mr. Boone, is it because of how many calls, how many instances in the past? Because it's not normal, we just deny a bar or nightclub.
Yes, sir. In researching this particular location, there have been an excessive numbers of calls for service to the police department at this location, and we did have some opposition from neighbors as well.
And I do want to say, in fairness, that the group that did come to speak at that particular meeting, they just took over ownership of that particular shopping strip, and the business that was operating prior to them getting there, they did evict that tenant. Wasn't that also discussed in planning and zoning?
Yes, sir.
So I just want to make sure, we fair to all businesses that come here, and I don't want to hold them accountable for how another business operated prior to them getting here. So I'm okay with it because of the things that took place, but I also want to be fair to those gentlemen who just did purchase that new shopping strip. I don't want them to be penalized for something that happened prior to them being there.
Councilman Samuel.
How far is that church from that strip center?
It is, let me see if it's in the report.
Calvary.
Yeah. It's probably 1,000 feet, roughly, maybe a quarter mile.
Okay. But that is a strip center that has a restaurant and some other businesses?
Yes, sir. The Ridgewood, I think it used to be
Yes.
called.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion?
One more.
Okay.
Do we know for a fact whether this new tenant has any relationship with the prior tenant?
I don't. I understand they're the new owners of the center, but I don't know if they have a relationship or not.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of denying item number 2, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. May we have the reading of item number 3?
Yes. Council consider a request for a specific use permit to allow a gaming site in the LI, Light Industrial District, for property located at 5305 Gorman Road. And at a joint public hearing held on May 15, 2023, the Planning Commission recommended 6-0 to deny the request for a specific use permit to allow the gaming site in this district. And it comes with the recommendation for denial of the ordinance.
Is there a motion for item number 3 to deny?
Move to deny.
Second.
Moved and seconded on item number 3.
I'm sorry, Mayor, who's second? Thank you.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of denying item number 3, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. May we have the reading of item number 4, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Council consider a request for a specific use permit to allow a medical office in the RMH Residential Multiple Family Highest Density District with property located at 3590 Blackman Lane, number 1. And at a joint public hearing held on May 15, 2023, the Planning Commission recommended 6-0 to approve the request for the SUP with the following conditions. Construction plans must meet all requirements by water utilities for any water and sanitary sewer improvements, including any requirements of the city's backflow, pre-treatment, and our fog program. 2, construction plans shall be in compliance with section 28.04.006 landscaping and screening requirements. And 3, construction plans shall be in compliance with all applicable building and fire codes. And this recommendation approval of the ordinance with those conditions.
Is there a motion for item number 4?
Move to approve with conditions.
It's been moved and seconded by Councilman Samuel. Any discussion? All in favor of approving item number 4, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. We have the reading of item number 5.
Thank you. Council consider a request for a specific use permit to allow a parking lot in the RMH Residential Multiple Family Highest Density District for property located at number 3 Acadiana Court. And then a joint public hearing held on May 15, 2023. I'm sorry. The Planning Commission recommended 6-0 to approve the request with the condition of no permanent structures or appurtenances shall be placed within the easement property. The city will not be responsible for any surface restoration when water repairs are necessary within the city of Beaumont water line easement. And recommendation of approval with that condition.
Is there a motion for item number 5?
So move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for approval of item number 5. Any discussion? All in favor of approving item number 5, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. May we have the reading of item number 6, please?
Council consider a request to rezone properties from GC, MD, General Commercial Multiple Family Dwelling District to RS, Residential Single Family Dwelling District for a 1.207 tract of land located at 11375 Old Volt Road. And at a joint public hearing held on May 15, 2023, the Planning Commission recommended 6-0 to approve the request. And this comes with the recommendation of approval of the ordinance by staff.
Is there a motion for item number 6?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and the motion and the second for approval for item number 6. Any discussion? All in favor of approving item number 6, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. May we have the reading of item number 7?
Council consider a request for an abandonment of the alleyway in Block 10 of the Van Warmer addition located within the 700 block of Archie Street. And at a joint public hearing held on May 15, 2023, the Planning Commission recommended 6-0 to approve the request for an abandonment of the alleyway in the Block 10 of the Van Warmer addition. Recommendation of approval by staff.
Is there a motion for item number 7?
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved. There's a motion and a second for approval of item number 7. Any discussion? All in favor of approving item number 7, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes or is carried. May we have the reading of item number 8?
Council consider a resolution authorizing the Chief Magistrate the authority to dispose of unadjudicated Class C misdemeanor cases 15 years and older pursuant to Texas Code Criminal Procedure, Articles 103.0081. Recommendations of approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item number 8?
Move to approve.
Is there a second for approval?
Second.
There's a motion and a second for approval of item number 8. Any discussion?
Question.
Councilman Turner.
For our city attorney, is this just to get in line with state law? Can you kind of speak to that?
So that particular criminal section of the criminal code allows for the chief magistrate to do that. Unadjudicated cases, as it's mentioned in the memo, are cases that have not been gone through the criminal process, which means that person has not pled guilty or not guilty or been found guilty or not guilty. Some of these cases date back to 1994, in which case the city hasn't been able to prosecute them. At that point, it's almost unconscionable to try to drag somebody in. We can't meet our burden of proof. It doesn't apply to cases where individuals have been found guilty or have already applied. That particular statute allows for cases that are over 15 years of age, cases that are involve deceased persons and persons serving life in prison.
Okay, I didn't want to leave any money on the table. That's why I was asking.
Did it also include those who had deferred probation?
No, so we're not dismissing cases that have been adjudicated. We're only resolving cases that are unadjudicated based on those 3 conditions. They're over the 15 years or older. They have the individual is deceased or the individual is serving life in prison.
Any other discussion?
Question. 17,000 sounds like a lot. Is there a reason why we're not able to prosecute those cases and, in a more timely fashion, or what happened to get that kind of a backlog?
In fairness, that highway runs across, several things. So people travel all the way through. So sometimes you get a ticket in Beaumont and you never come back to Beaumont ever, and you just don't pay it. We don't drive to wherever you are to arrest you to effect the warrant. And it really doesn't apply outside, the state. So it could be that those individuals didn't live here. It could be that those individuals moved away and are no longer here. So there's no incentive to pay. Like I said, the oldest case is in 1994. I was in the 4th grade at that time. And so it's over 30 years old. And so if an individual did live here and we failed to prosecute, one of the things you have to keep in mind is that the officer who wrote the ticket probably is no longer with the city of Beaumont. If Burmaster was still on the force, I would say that that was possible, but he's since retired. So there's a chance that we don't have a witness to authenticate or to identify the defendant and testify to the charges against them. There's also a matter, so that's a burden that the state has to prove. And again, it's a situation where if we haven't done so in 30 years, the likelihood that we'll be able to do so now are very slim.
But these aren't all traffic tickets, are they?
Yes, these are all municipal court tickets. So they're anything from traffic tickets. They could be sometimes ordinance tickets as well. So like property tickets, but it's not like a cutting fee or anything. These would all be criminal charges.
Fine only.
Yeah, fine only.
Any other discussion? All in favor of approving item number 8, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. May we have a reading of item number 10, please?
9? Is it 9?
9. I meant 9.
Okay. Council consider a resolution approving the sale of city-owned property identified as Plat K, Track 3D, Brown Edition, 12 feet by 199 feet, located on St. Anthony Street, Beaumont, Texas. And staff has recommended approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item number 9?
Move to approve.
There's a motion and a second for approval of item number 9. Any discussion?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm assuming Mr. Gamble, who's buying the property, owns the adjoining property? Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor of approving item number 9, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. May we have the reading of item number 10?
Council consider a resolution authorizing the acceptance of 100 square feet exclusive water utility easement, and it comes with the recommendation of approval.
Is there a motion for item number 10?
Second.
There is a motion and a second for approval of item number 10. Any discussion? All in favor of approving item number 10, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. May we have a reading of item number 11?
Council consider a resolution authorizing the execution of a license to encroach agreement with Margarita Batres, and staff has recommended approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item number 11?
Move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second for approval of item number 11. Any discussion? All in favor of approving item number 11, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Now is the time for any citizen who wishes to speak. If you would like to make public comments, please complete a green slip and hand it to the city clerk. The city clerk will call your name when it's your time to speak. We would appreciate it if you keep your comments to 3 minutes. The green light will come on when you approach the podium, and the red light will come on when your time is up.
Agnes Landor, 1095 Euclid Street, Beaumont, Texas.
I just want to make sure.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and the councilman. My name is Agnes Landor. I reside at 1095 Euclid Street. I cannot remember the exact date, but it was the same night we had the debate for mayor. About 8:30 after it completed, I walked outside. And somehow I found police cars parked in front of my house. So I walked up front, I was concerned. I walked up front to the gate, And the officers was like two houses, 1125 Euclid. In the meantime, when one of them came to the car parked in front of my house, which there's a field where they were at. But like I said, the street is public, so I don't mind that. But there were field. But anyway, I asked this officer, excuse me, sir, officer, is it anything concern the neighborhood that we should be concerned? I've been in that neighborhood 40 years. He looked at me and told me it was none of my business. I was shocked. I said, excuse me, sir, could you give me your name? Could you give me your badge? He walked off. There was several other, matter of fact, it was two cars parked in the front. There was a third one coming off of Euclid, but they were all at that house. My concern wasn't what was going on at that house. My concern was, since there was so many police cars and ambulance came there, I thought maybe something had happened. Because to me, the street is public. They could have been to that house, parked in front of that house, but it was in front of my house. They're there to serve and protect the citizen of Beaumont. One bad apple spoiled the whole thing. And that same night, after you, Mayor, talked, there was this black gentleman talking about neighborhood watch. How can we have neighborhood watch when you have officers telling me it's none of my business? And how long has he been doing that? He wouldn't give me his name until today. I've tried several times to get through the office. I even talked to Miss Kathy. I haven't had any results from anyone. So that's why I'm here approaching you all today.
Thank you.
Charlie Crabb, 928 East Drive, Beaumont, Texas.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council, staff. Last week when we welcomed you, Mayor West, I forgot to tell you, we grew up in Beaumont in the 1960s. I think you grew up and I was maturing as a young father.
Yes.
All right. And I want to, due to that time, I recognize Mr. Ellis as Mr. Lee, so I have to apologize for him this afternoon. But visiting with him after that faux pas, I found out he grew up in Crockett, Texas, born in Lovelady, right up in the Piney Woods, and right up US 287. So that's a lovely place to have grown up. I attended the work session this morning, but I was only able to stay for the camera activity, and that's a very good idea. We need to improve our cameras out at locations that are high crime risk, like our convenience stores and grocery stores and what have you. And I'm sorry I just used up half my time. Y'all have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, now it's time for council public comments. Councilman Durio.
Thank you, Mayor. Once again, I just want to thank the manager and staff for the budget workshop today. I think everything went very well. It was really informative, and people ask for transparency, and it's very transparent. And also, I want to remind everybody of Pear Archer Neighborhood Association. We having their meeting Thursday at night at John's Library at 6:30 p.m. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Getz.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo what Councilmember Durio said about the work session this morning. It is a refreshing approach. It's a approach that I agree with, to have more information provided to us in the way of planning sessions. It's something I think we've needed for a long time, and I welcome it. So I look forward to continuing that process as we continue to prepare for our upcoming budget. Thank you.
Councilman Turner.
Well, I want to thank our former county judge, Mr. Carl Griffin, in the crowd. I just want to recognize and say thank you for being here. I did want to compliment city staff on this morning. It was very refreshing. I know with some of the council members, we went well over and y'all didn't get to finish, so I'm looking forward to finishing it. But I did learn this morning, Roy said several times, let's just let them finish. Let's let them finish. But we just kept jumping in there because I think everybody was pretty excited. But I want to compliment y'all because I agree with Mike. It was real refreshing to be a part of the process. So Todd, Kenneth, June, Chris, Bart, Sheree, Tina, I want to thank y'all, all right, and this whole entire staff. This is an exciting time to be in Beaumont. We have to be open-minded as a community to try new things. This was new this morning, and it started at the direction of you guys. As a community, we got to be open-minded. And lastly, one of my favorite holidays, if not the favorite, Juneteenth is coming up. And I'm pretty sure very soon city staff will be able to announce the headline talent. So a lot of people have been asking about Juneteenth. It's coming up, and pretty soon you'll hear more details. And if you can stay after the meeting, I'd like to help you out and make sure you get pointed in the right direction, okay?
Councilman Felshaw.
The same. City manager and staff, great job today. Well done. Thank you so much.
Councilman.
Well, I would just to say I'm excited about Beaumont right now. I haven't felt like this in years. So I say to the city manager, thank you. And you've surrounded yourself with a great team. Y'all are working very hard. I'm happy with where we are, where we're going. So thank you.
Councilman Neal.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to echo what everybody else said, I think it was a time well spent today. I know we got a long ways to go, but I think it was a great jump start on where we're going. So thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney.
Nothing.
Bart.
Nothing,
Chris.
thank you.
June. And Todd. Tina. City Manager.
Just thank the staff for the preparation for today's meeting. Appreciate it. And I thank the city council for your patience in working with us.
Well, I just want to echo, it's been a week since I've gotten sworn in, and I've been up here every day, and